Hello and welcome to episode 13. It's coming to you a little bit late, but you know what? There's just so much that happened this week that Phil and I just need to take a full weekend off to just sit down and figure out, Phil, what just happened. Everyone in the playoffs is either injured, our playoff brackets are broken. I don't know what's happening anymore, Phil. What do you think?
Too much has happened. We watch a basketball weekend. We watch a weekend of basketball, and look what happens. My God, we could have this podcast for 2.5 hours. I'm sure you guys are really looking forward to sitting and buckling down, listening to that, though, right? 2.5 hours. You guys in for the ride? You in for the ride there, Luke? I think you are.
30 minutes. So 30. We aim for 30 minutes. Always in 45 minutes. So that's where we're gonna go. 2 hours. I might fall asleep, Phil. That puts me at technically 1 o'clock. In the morning, my time. That's not going to happen.
You can do it. You can do it. Have a monster. You'll be fine.
All right. Well, you know what the people came here for? Even if they didn't come here for it, that's what I tell myself to make myself feel good about myself. I said myself a lot there too. Myself.
Hey, nothing wrong
myself
with yourself.
Is going to win this rock, paper, scissors. Are you ready?
No, you always do. You always do.
Well, no, technically I'm not. I have not. 4-1. I'm 4-1. Although the one time you could say you cheated. Because I did have scissors up, but you said because I said rock.
Yeah, well, it's not like we're a podcast, you know.
I think we need.
It's like we're a movie or something, you know. Visuals are better than the words.
Podcast too. I mean, your face, I see it right now. So.
Oh, you know. Well, yeah. Okay.
We need some rock paper scissors refs. Sign up for the job. The hours are terrible. The pay is brutal, but please.
I think you have to pay us. You have to pay us if you're the rock paper scissors judge. I think 100%. That's how it's gonna work.
All right, you ready for this?
Always.
1, 2, 3, rock.
Rock.
1, 2, 3, rock.
Paper. Hey.
4-2. He's making a comeback.
See, I threw you away. You thought I was going to go paper to get the easy win for me to start right away? Had to make it work to lose.
I knew you were going to switch it up. I mean, I went rock first. I would have automatically lost if I thought you were going paper. It's all mine. I let you win one, and I win 10 in a row.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, well, I get to go first on the questions then today.
Okay. I'm a good egg. My wife tells me I'm a good egg, and that's what matters.
You're not cracking?
I don't have the bad egg mug today, because I've been a good egg.
Do you have a bad egg mug?
There is. It's a black one. It says bad egg. Today, the wife has promoted me to good egg.
Aw, no, that's a lovely.
Did I pick the mug out myself? Yes.
Did she pay for it? Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right.
Did she say it was a gift to me? Yes.
Yes. I do like them though. Okay. All right, Phil. Hit me with your question.
Okay, so
mentally,
if you guys watched the basketball this past weekend, especially yesterday on Sunday, you may have seen the infamous Ben Simmons deciding not to lay the ball up with the 76ers down 2. I think it was 88-86 at this stage. Beats his man, blows by his defender, wide open layup, passes it off to Matisse Thybulle. And he gets fouled, goes to the line, goes 1-2. Probably the turning point of the series, turning point of the night. But my question is, what has something you decided to pass up that you thought was a good idea, but later found out perhaps it wasn't the best decision? Just as Ben in this moment here has a wide open layup, goes up for it, says, no, I don't want 2 points. Passes it to Thybulle and gets fouled, and they're down 1. So what's
something I've given up before that I wish I hadn't? Is that?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. What was something you decided that you thought was a good idea and you passed upon it, but later found out it perhaps wasn't the best decision, that you should have gone for it?
Okay. I'm with you now. Okay. Our friendship.
I know. Yeah, I know. That's how we end the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining From Deep. This is Bill signing off. Hey, with that, I'm having a sip of my
wine. Something that I passed up on that I wish I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Are you a man that has no regrets?
I don't know if I can't think of any off the top of my head. I kind of live day to day, man. Something I passed up on that I wish I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But did you have something? Because I honestly, I can't. There's nothing racking in my head right now.
Travel's what comes to my mind. It's like, I wish I did that trip. I wish I went there. Or like, for example, I wish I had what that person was having across from me at the dinner table, and I'm having a stupid Caesar salad. Why didn't I just go for that bacon burger? You know, I think food and travel goes well with this question. Yeah, bacon can go wrong, right?
Yeah, you know, I could get since we're a basketball podcast, yeah, I guess I could say I wish I focused more on on the game of basketball than on my Xbox.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
we wish I would have done a couple more suicides, taking the game a little bit more seriously, seeing where it taken me. I don't think I would have went to the show by any means, but definitely that's one thing you could always look back on and be like, I wish I took my sport a little bit more seriously.
Maybe took more threes as opposed to mid-range jumpers, so Doran would sub you off.
Yeah, this is true. I worked on my mid-range game too much. I tried to become a DeMar DeRozan, and Doran needed me to be a JJ Redick. And
he was Maury Ball. He was Maury Ball. You were Doc Rivers. It just didn't work out.
My 3 game didn't come till university, and by that point, I was only playing in the rec leagues, so it's too late. It was too late.
Okay, no.
All right, Phil.
What's your question? What's your cue? No.
Oh, Phil.
You're chuckling already. This is a bad sign.
Phil, this is I have a beautiful question. I generally, like I said, I leave them till the day of, because then it's just as fun for me to figure out something random to ask. So my question to you, so this is how would this affect the game of basketball?
Okay.
So, as we know, right at the 3-point line, about a couple steps out, there's that little line out. I don't even know what that line out is.
Like the little 45 dash you're talking about. Little dash. Where it's basically where they have to inbound it if there's like a timeout.
Oh, is that
called.
Okay? Is that I actually didn't know the name of it. So
yeah.
What if the NBA added in on both sides 5 steps up and 5 steps down?
5 steps up and 5 steps. Oh, like you're saying, like an angle, an angle on the court.
Like you take 5 steps up, 5 steps down.
As you're going across the 3-point line? So it's like a little hill. It's like a little hill to get fast court.
How would that change the game of basketball as we know it? And would it be for the better or would it be for the worse?
Well, I feel like it would stop a lot less scoring. I feel like it would stop fast breaks.
The guy just runs up the 5 steps.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like someone's not going to do fast break as often. You're always going to run like half court possessions because you're not really going to be able to run back in transition very quickly.
Maybe. Or maybe you start getting hurdlers who also are good at basketball.
Do you have a personal friend that's a hurdler and a basketball player that inspired this question?
No, this is just
you're playing pickup on Saturday, and he's just like, hey man, you're really good at basketball. You must hurdle too, the way you jump.
This is where my brain goes sometimes. This is where this is what the people come for. This is what we need from me. I was just thinking though, like you could technically have a height advantage. Like if someone was like down a step and you like took 2 steps up. Quick 3.
So you're talking before the 3-point line, or are you talking within the 3-point line?
Right. So when you came down on the other side, you'd be right at the 3-point line.
Okay, and that's at the top. That's at the top of your hill, and then it slopes down after the 3-point line.
Yeah, it'd be stairs down as well.
Stairs down. Oh God, there will be so many more injuries. So many more injuries. Oh my God.
Well, you could space it out. Maybe it needs to start earlier. I don't have all the logistics figured out yet, Phil. I mean, look,
I think a slope's dangerous enough, but if you're putting in stairs, you're just gonna get busted ankles and knees all the time. Someone's gonna get concussed on the stairs. Oh my God. This is one of your more interesting questions for sure.
So does it benefit the NBA or does it decline the NBA?
I think it declines the NBA. I mean, I love slam ball. Slam ball is pretty damn cool with the trampolines. For those that haven't seen slam ball, it's basically a bunch of trampolines with a basketball net, and people are just jumping on the trampoline up and doing big mad dunks and jams and stuff. I feel like this would be the opposite of this. Slam ball, there were so many injuries.
It would slow down. It would slow down the fast break. It would make the game a little bit more skillful.
Be a lot more half court.
It would be interesting to see how people would use the stairs. Like your dribbling game would have to be very strong, or maybe you would just always pass over it. You could have people that probably could hurdle it. You could technically use it as an advantage to like get up higher to shoot. I don't think it's a benefit to the NBA, but maybe it is.
It would create more entertainment. Try it in the G League.
Adam Silver. Here, you heard it here first. I have a great idea for you. Viewership's going down. You don't care about your players' ankles. 5 steps, both sides. Hear me out. It's going to be the best decision you've ever made.
5 steps.
From deep.
Oh my goodness.
From deep. From behind the stairs. Splash.
It's more like crack. There goes someone's ankles. Oh no.
Yeah, of someone trying to block you over the stairs, and you just.
I feel like it's WWE. I feel like someone's gonna get taken down with like a rear hold choke and just slam on the stairs. I feel like the fights would get that much more intense. Someone would come in and jump off that into someone.
Sure, I like it. I like where you're going, Phil. I think we're just branching off of something very, very magical here. Let's just add UFC fighters in. Let's just see what happens. Throw a basketball in there. Whoever gets to 5 points first and isn't dead wins. Sure. Did you ever watch the movie El Dorado? Same idea.
El Dorado.
Road to El Dorado.
Oh, that's an
old animation movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
They played the game where they had to kick the ball through the hoop.
Yeah.
So that is an actual
like
game
the Mayans and the Aztecs.
back then. But back then, the team that lost would be sacrificed.
Sometimes the winning team.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sometimes the winning
team. That's not a game I'd want to play. That's a game where if you ain't first, you're last. Is actually if you're last, you're first because you're still alive. Good on you. Luke needs to get the final point for the team to win, and he just is running away. He is leaving the Coliseum. What?
I went to Chichen Itza and they were saying like how they played the game there, and they were saying, they found out that it was actually the winning team that would be sacrificed occasionally too. Just change it up.
Luke's team is on a 100-game losing streak. We don't know what's going on. I don't know. We go out there, we play really hard, but we just can't seem to get past.
Can't get the ball through the hoop. I'm sorry. Every time I miss it.
Maybe next year.
Oh, jeez. Well, we've talked a little bit about injuries. Do you want to go to our insightful question here?
LeBron James is sending out tweets. He's like, add in stairs. I don't know if you guys seen this. I don't like my
Yo, Adam, I've got the best idea to stop us from getting injuries.
I got it from this amazing podcast I listened to. He's one of our 16 subscribers, if you didn't know. LeBron James, though, just switch it up, get a little bit more serious. LeBron James, King James Twitter handle, saying they all didn't want to listen to me about the start of the season. I knew exactly what would happen. He's coming out strong with these words. I only wanted to protect the well-being of the players, which ultimately is the product and benefit of our game. All caps. LeBron getting serious here. These injuries isn't just part of the game. It's lack of pure rim rest. Rest before starting back up. 8, possibly 9 All-Stars have missed playoff games, most in league history. This is the best time of the year for our league and fans, but missing a ton of our favorite players. It's insane. There's one player that know about the body and how it works all year round. It's me. I speak the health of all our players, and I hate to see this many injuries in this time of year. Sorry, fans. Wish you guys were seeing all your favorite guys right now.
Strong words from LeBron.
I'm surprised we didn't see an at NBA or an at Adam Silver in there.
I don't think he needs to with the way that his words carry volume, right? I was actually chatting about a friend with this over Instagram, and we're kind of chatting. It's like, is it really the NBA's fault what happened? I personally don't think it is. We were kind of in agreement in saying that fluke injuries happen every year. It's weird that it's happened to a lot of the better players, but it has happened before in NBA history. It's not the first time and probably won't be the last time. And the reality is the Player Association approved this league. They approved this league and they approved this season. LeBron's just bitter he lost and he's out, and he wants to be back in the headlines. He sees KD going up, hitting these shots, stealing all the limelight. And LeBron's just like, hey guys, you remember me? I got something to say. I got a movie to promote. Listen to me. Listen to me.
LeBron James cares too much about being in the spotlight. He'll always be in the spotlight. I do think there's some truth to what he's saying.
Yes. They're always.
But he's also in a point and place where he has a lot of money, so it wouldn't matter if he took more rim rest, right? There's a couple things that as I was thinking of what he's saying here. I mean, the NBA players agreed to it, so really LeBron, I mean, I hear what he's saying, but the players agreed to it. That's on them. 2 questions it brings to kind of topic. Are players taking care of themselves correctly? I hate to say it, but like when you have 9 All-Stars go down, like, yes, maybe it's due to lack of rim rest, but were those players taking the proper rest that they needed to?
Yeah, well, I think like when we kind of talked about offline before the show is really the debate of having rest during the season as Kawhi gets managed throughout the season. He only played 46 games this season. I think
Still got
another big
injured.
part of it, and still got injured. And I think a big part of it as well is that this season obviously was a little bit ramped up through the second half of the season due to COVID. Obviously, what had happened, some teams had missed some games earlier on, and then were forced to kind of play. The Wizards, that's what happened to them, for example, but they actually went on a great run. Think of the Wizards, they went on an amazing run in the second half because their team was healthy and they continued to play and play strong together. They didn't do anything in the playoffs, but they still played well despite a frenetic pace. Uh, for me, I'm very conflicted with what he has to say. Part of me agrees with him, but the other part, like what you said, is they agreed to this. LeBron lost. He's out. Freak injuries happen. It's part of the game.
I
And
mean,
hey,
that's
we've
why
got
his
to.
team went out too, though, right?
Yeah,
With
Anthony
Anthony
Davis got
Davis going
hurt.
down. It is a
They were up
lot of
2-0.
players,
Yeah,
though. It is, and it's a lot
100%.
of
100%.
it's a lot
A lot
of
of the star
all
players.
stars who play a lot of the minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I think there's some actual impact to this because fluke injuries do
Mm-hmm.
happen, but when you have the
Mm-hmm.
guys who are playing the most minutes who are getting these injuries, and they're not off like fluke injuries, like Kawhi's was just a random dribble up and his knee went. You know,
Yeah,
these
hyperextended
injuries
his
aren't
knee.
coming
Mm-hmm.
from a weird fall down on someone's ankle or a weird dunk attempt where they fall and twist their ankle. They're coming from what I've seen. Not I haven't seen all the injuries, but so the ones I've seen on YouTube, it's just like players just running, or
Fatigue
players
injuries.
or just
It's yeah,
taking two steps and then a buckle in the knee or a buckle in the ankle. But it's not off
yeah,
like you think of maybe old time basketball, like somebody got an injury and then you watch a highlight and it's because you see like Ron Artest just going giving the
smacking
flying
him.
bow to him, right? And like you
Yeah,
or
yeah,
coming up for a big block and the player falls awkwardly. And
yeah,
here you're not really seeing that. You're just seeing players get hurt by playing the game of basketball. So then in
yeah.
Brighton's my question is more like then are these all-stars actually taking care of themselves the way they're supposed to?
Or can they even because of the frenetic amount of games they've had to
Yeah,
play?
but the games have always been like that.
It
And
was a
that's
little bit faster, I think. I was listening to a podcast with Zach Lowe, and he had someone who's an injury expert. I can't remember his name, but it was a good podcast. And he was talking about how there has been more injuries just based off of the workload that these players have had.
they're
So
getting
there is
quicker
some
and
data that
faster.
shows to behind it. Yeah, quicker, faster. Well, the game's played at such a pace now, too. You see someone like Harden go down with a hamstring injury. Anthony Davis, exact same thing. Ankle injuries with both Kyrie and Donovan Mitchell.
So it brings to
Wear and
again
tear
the
injury
question
stuff.
of is are these players actually taking care of their bodies? I understand the professional athletes are taking
Yeah,
care of themselves in that sense. But like, you know, you look at Derrick Rose and that guy went through a bajillion a bajillion things just to get back
yeah.
to playing the game. And I guarantee you he's like the only players that really are probably taking the extra precautions are the ones that have had an injury in the past and realize they have to take care of themselves. So
Yeah,
I
and
also
some people
attribute it
even
to
besides
players.
that.
Yeah, I attribute it to probably these players are not taking care of themselves on or taking it as seriously on the injury aspect of things too.
Or
Not
just getting unlucky too.
yes and no. Like we've seen a lot of players play through injuries and get through it, but when nine all stars go down roughly, you know
Yeah.
that's I do question. Maybe our sports science needs to step it up again and catch up with the game. Maybe what these athletes are being told isn't correct. Because it's not fluke injuries. Like it's just like you said, it's wear and tear injuries. But a lot of these players are in their like sorry, I should say late 20s. They shouldn't be having injuries like this.
Yeah. So what they were also saying on Zach Lowe's podcast was saying that the training staff and the medical teams that they do a lot of their time and prep on prevention. And then once a player gets injured, a lot of that focus then goes to rehabilitation. And it really starts to snowball with the rest of the team because the team is so built on rehabbing versus prevention that just kind of snowballs the injuries. Like you look at the Nets season, they one player got injured and then another player got injured, and then they just never really got a chance to really get preventative in the sense as well. So
No.
yeah, it's been a weird year. It's been a weird year, and we're going to have a new championship for the first time in a very long time. So it's
Yep.
exciting in that sense. But a lot of those all stars, like you're saying, we won't be seeing them for the rest of this season.
Yep. Well, talking about seeing a new championship team, Bill, you ready to drive us into some NBA playoffs? Bam.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so we've got some new players in the game. We can do a quick recap on what kind of happened, and then we can kind of preview what's to come. So if we start in the East, we got Philly, who played Atlanta. Philly lost. The number 1 seed lost to the number 5 Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young putting on a show. He may not have had his best game 7, but was strong at the end. And I think the big takeaway that I had from this one was Philly's half-court offense was just atrocious. It was so bad. It was ISO ball, one guy taking the ball, trying to shoot over top. Ben Simmons passing up open shots, passing to Embiid after 12 seconds on the clock and asking him to do something. Their offense was so predictable that it really allowed the Hawks to kind of stay in the game with their 3-point shooting. So I'm not surprised the Hawks beat Philly. I think in our preview, we kind of said, I had said that Philly in my head says that they're going to win because they're the better team, but my heart says the Hawks because of how they play. And it looks like that's what ended up winning. The heart went and beat the head. So that was kind of interesting for me. What are your thoughts on this series?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Philly really struggle last year, and then they look like they kind of regained it. They added in Danny Green. They added in George Hill. Danny Green injured. They added in a lot of pieces that were supposed to really take care of it, and they just didn't do it again. And as we kind of see it, you roughly could see these two big men in Nikola and Embiid, who are both could have been MVP. I really do think Embiid, if he played the whole season, could have had it. And they just weren't surrounded by a team that could put it together. Like Atlanta's good. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to disregard what they've done. They've obviously got to where they got, but Philly should have been able to take care of business. Atlanta really had one guy who facilitated everything. And Philly had a ton of defense that should have been able to shut it down, and they didn't. So props to Atlanta. They did really well.
Simmons come back next season? You think he's gone?
He's a max contract player. Philly still has a team that is pushing playoffs, pushing to win a ring, and still definitely has a team to do it with Embiid. There's no way he stays because he's a liability. There's going to be a team that takes him because he's at this point, he's a, we'll take him. We'll see what happens. Because it's been Ben Simmons to me, even from when he goes and shooting the 3, this guy deals with a lot of mental stuff.
Yeah,
it's got to be because he the guy can play when he plays, and when he's like not in his head, the guy is unbelievable. He's huge. He's a good ball handler. He's a good passer. He's a good finisher, decent shooter. But when he gets into his head, it's like it's all over. So he needs a new system, a new coach, somebody to be in his ear that really believes in him, and kind of just throw him on a team where there's no playoff intentions. Like, I mean, every team has playoff intentions, but like you're not the first seed. You might be fighting for, like, OKC would be a perfect place for him to go. Just go play basketball. If you make the playoffs, awesome. If you don't, then take it as a building year with your team. And I think throw him in a situation like that. If he plays like garbage air, then I mean it's all over for him at that point. But I do think he just needs to play basketball and not worry about all the expectations that come with him.
I think he's very much in his own head, and he's got to work on his shot.
Layup in an NBA playoffs game 7
with a bucket that you needed, really needed. You didn't need to help facilitate to get a teammate involved. You needed to score to get the game close. Yeah, that was one of the worst choices I think I've seen in a long time in a playoff game. And that was tough to watch. That was tough to watch.
Yeah, and that's a mental thing. That wasn't a skill thing.
No, I agree.
Ben Simmons hits that layup 10 out of 10 times.
Oh, 100%. He'll hit it every single time. He's so in his own head. And the amount of Hacka Simmons versus Hacka Shaq that destroyed this series for Philly. That was the Philly offense, is Hacka Simmons, and he can't even make 50% of his foul shots. You're going to lose.
He's got a lot of work to do. But like I said, he's going to get traded. There's no doubt about it. The unfortunate part is Philly's probably not going to get a lot back for it.
No. And he was going to be the headliner of a Harden trade. I don't think they get anywhere close near to a Harden trade after that series. No way, Jose.
Nope.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see what happens with Philly, but let's move on to our next series here. We've got Brooklyn and Milwaukee. Brooklyn and Milwaukee went to overtime, game 7. Milwaukee pulled it out.
A nut shot to go to OT.
I know. And just his toenail goes across makes it a 2-pointer versus a 3-pointer with 1 second on the clock to tie the game versus win the game. I was reading some stuff online. Apparently, he wears one size shoe bigger than what he normally wears. So if he actually wore maybe his normal size shoe, that might have been a 3 and he would have won the game.
The what ifs.
The what ifs of basketball.
Life.
I know that's what he said post game too. He said, if I was just a little bit back, I could have done it. And you could tell he was gassed near the end of the game. And I have to say, like, I think it was game 5, which I watched, where I think it was in Milwaukee or where was Brooklyn. But either way, the game that he went like 48, 17, 10 boards, blocks and steals. I think that was the best game of basketball I've seen anyone play in recent memory. The only one that kind of reminds me of that is when LeBron in game 1 of the finals against Golden State, the J.R. Smith, what are you doing game, where I think he had a triple-double going into the 4th, and they ended up losing in 5 games in that one. But that was the best game I think I've seen in a very long time.
Yep.
The Nets played very well. Lose. Yeah, Durant played really well. The Nets lose because Kyrie's hurt. Harden clearly a shadow of himself. If Milwaukee loses,
Brooklyn was a shadow of themselves across the whole board. It was
they pushed it to 7 without Kyrie and without James Harden. I was about to say, do you think Giannis wins without Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton? No,
I don't think I don't think Milwaukee should have made it through that series.
And that was just with Harden, or just with Durant, basically, in a shadow of Harden. So
it's funny
to me. That's kind of crazy.
Atlanta, yeah. I think would be my favorites. I guess.
Yeah, against Milwaukee
from the East. Like I'm not gonna vote against them anymore. And Milwaukee played like garbage. So sure, this is kind of reminding me of a bubble Heat. Like that one team that you just had it all running together, and it's always said, if everything runs well together, there's a good chance that it just works out. And for Atlanta right now, it's everything's running smooth and it's just working out. So
yeah, let's do our preview now of this series. So we've got the Bucks and we got the Hawks coming up. They play, I think, the first game on Wednesday. So who do you have in this series? You got the Hawks winning this thing? Is that what you're saying right
now? I've literally gotten pretty much every pick wrong so far, Phil. So at this point,
injuries haven't helped.
Sure. Atlanta. Why not? I don't even know why I'm even on a basketball podcast. I know nothing about this sport anymore. Atlanta's gonna win. Sure, why not?
Atlanta's gonna win.
Sure.
Oh, that's too funny. I'll take the Bucks. I'll take the Bucks on this side of the bet here. Well, maybe we'll put a $10 bet in between the two of us on who wins this one.
I don't know who's gonna get it. Sure, why not? Yeah, I'm just throwing my money to the wind. I have no idea what's basketball. I might be a soccer analyst now.
What is basketball? Well, I think the Bucks probably have a chance because they've got Drew Holiday, which can match up Trey. Then you got
Philly
Giannis.
Matched Atlanta though, on paper. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but I think
if you go by the teams that are playing, Atlanta wins right now. They're too good. On paper,
I think the Bucks are a little better. I think the Bucks are a little better than the Sixers.
I'm gonna let Atlanta do their thing. They made it this far.
Hey, Trae Young's played unbelievable. I like the Hawks too, but I think the Bucks got to win this thing. This is Giannis's window. This is Giannis's window to get to the finals. If they're going to do something, it's this year, honestly.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. There's not much more else for the East. Like I said, we kind of covered Brooklyn. Did Brooklyn go down 2 games?
They were up 2-0, and then Kyrie got hurt in game 3.
Right. And
Harden hadn't played until game 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Nets.
So my theory held up. If the Brooklyn goes down 2 games, they were
Well, they were up 2 games. They were up 2 games.
Yeah, but then they lost 4 in a row, Phil, and they were down 2-0 when the game.
Yeah, they lost. Yeah, so they lost the 2 in Milwaukee. They won in Brooklyn, and then they lost the last 2. Yeah, so they were up 3-2 in the series.
They took it. They got down 2-0, Phil.
You were the messiah of the injury call, eh? Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, hey man, I'm okay with Brooklyn not winning. Not happy about the injuries, but I'm not. I wasn't cool with what Brooklyn did and the team they made, so I'm okay with them being out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. You think they run it back fully next year?
Oh yeah,
you think they're going to
as long as they can afford it, you'd be stupid not to.
I agree. With the players they got to keep it going.
Yeah. James Harden's garbage.
let's fire Steve Nash. I thought Steve Nash did an okay job. Like I thought he did a pretty good job.
No,
everything considered.
I mean, Brooklyn injuries would be a very different story because Milwaukee would not have done. I don't even think Milwaukee.
No, they wouldn't have won.
Wins.
They would not have won. They would not have won. Milwaukee would not have won if they had a healthy Kyrie for sure.
Nope. So yeah. Well, East is interesting. In the West, we got lots going on. I'm going to let you talk about that here in a second, but quickly, we're just going to talk about the Mavs before we go into the playoff portion because the Mavs are, we're technically considered to be this team to beat out the Clippers, and then a week later their GM gone, their coach is gone. There's news articles coming through on the relationship between Luka and Kristaps. Mark Cuban saying everything's okay. A clip coming out of Luka saying he likes the assistant coach and thinks he should be the head coach. I don't know how long ago, but we'll say a month or two ago.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it all from an anonymous source, and see what happens. Woj breaks up the NBA.
That was the Mavs are a lot happened.
A lot happened.
A lot happened.
I'll be interested to see what direction they go now with the GM gone, the coach gone. And Rick Carlisle is a hell of a coach, so to lose him is something else. But I think him and Luka had a bit of a relationship issues there too. You'd see them both yelling and barking at one another. So kind of made sense, I guess, to keep Luka happy. Oh, that's a tough job to replace. I think probably what happens if Budenholzer loses this one, he's going to Milwaukee, or he's going away from Milwaukee to Dallas. Because I don't know how you replace him. Stan Van Gundy. Stan Van Gundy's going there.
He's coming. Yeah, it's interesting. And then there's this whole conversation of Cuban brought in some analyst.
Bob Valgaris.
Yes, who wasn't really...
Professional gambler. Brought in as an analytics guy. Really interesting guy, really arrogant, really has a strong opinion about things. And his opinion was not settled with Luka, from what I've been hearing. So
yeah, the Mavs. It's going to be an interesting offseason. That's all we'll say. It's going to be an interesting offseason for them.
Well, we're going to see what happens more and more as we get closer and closer.
But let's talk about the West playoffs. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think we also have the draft lottery this week too, which will be something that's fun to talk about next week. So
yep, 100%.
Yeah, but I guess to bring us back to playoffs here, we got two more series to chat about. Real quick, we got the Jazz losing to the Clippers. The Jazz being the number one seed, going down to the Clippers.
First seeds are gone.
Goes down. First seeds are gone.
Out of the semis.
Oh, they're all gone, and now the playing fields are leveled. Kawhi got hurt. You think Utah's going to win this series? And then the small ball lineup of the Los Angeles Clippers, a Terrence Mann game in Game 6. I think he had 30-something points. The game of his life. 37 points, the game of his life, ends up winning Game 6 in Los Angeles. Donovan Mitchell, maybe a little bit of nagging injury. I don't think anything's officially come out, but he looked a little hurt. This was a surprise. This was a surprise to me. Was this a surprise to you?
Clippers were the first team to ever in the NBA playoffs come from an 0-2-0-2 back-to-back to win it. Mm-hmm. So, I think. And then we see the Clippers already down a game. This is like, we got them right where we want them. We just got to lose one more, boys. One more.
Phoenix.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, with this next series. But to talk about the Utah Clippers, I mean, the Utah really struggled with Gobert on the rotations. But, he's also the defensive player of the year. I'm not going to blame anything on him. That's, as a team, you need to know what your defensive player of the year can do. And know and make, like, I feel that's almost like a coach in not making the right rotations. Like,
try to stick to it too much.
Fight through the pick and roll. Have this player cover and fall
back. Or
make
a substitute. Make a substitute. Take him off the floor.
And take him off the floor. Run different lineups. Like, I mean, he's the defensive player of the year. He's not bad. Like, everyone's like, oh, he's getting torch on the pick and roll. Like, no, he's just, that's not his specialty as a defender. Mm-hmm. And another team picked that apart, and then that's the coach's job to then have it unpicked apart. And the coach didn't do that. So
yeah, Quinn Snyder didn't do that. He didn't adjust.
No.
He stuck with his game plan, and the game plan blew up.
And they just let the Clippers get going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you let Terrence Mann, and again, that's
the strategy was let Terrence Mann
win the game. Like, I think you do that, right? Like 9 times out of 10, you let Terrence Mann try to win the game, because 9 times out of 10, he probably doesn't win the game.
Yeah. And hey, He won them the game. They're on to the next round against the Suns. So pretty damn cool.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, and then Phoenix, Denver. Phil, what was going on there?
So 4-0. 4-0 Phoenix. It feels like it happened over 2 weeks ago when this series finished.
Yeah.
I was checking our notes. They were up 2-0 when we chatted about them last, and they just cleaned them up nicely from there. So yeah, there's not much to say here. I think this is basically what people were expecting to happen with the Portland-Denver series. And then lo and behold, the backcourt of Denver, Campazzo, Austin Rivers, Monte Morris were no match to a Chris Paul and Devin Booker backcourt. And 4-0. Anything further to say about this one, or do you want to jump right into the next one?
No, I mean, there's not much. Nikola played well, played strong. Denver just wasn't. We knew they were going to hit the point where they'd miss Murray. It's just a matter.
And this series,
it was just a matter of when. Obviously, I thought Portland could do it. Portland didn't take advantage of that. Phoenix was going to take advantage of it. So it was just a matter of time.
Certainly did.
So, no, not much to say about there. Denver fought hard. Obviously, hoping Jamal has a healthy year next year and they try to run it back because Denver played really well. I think with Jamal Murray, that's a lot of there's would be a lot of what ifs for some teams. Like, it'll be interesting offseason because I don't think a lot of teams want to blow it up because it's like, well, what if that injury didn't happen?
Exactly. Well, there will be a lot of coaching changes, I think. Maybe that'll be the one thing that changes. But players, players, I'm not sure. But yeah, I guess Phoenix, Los Angeles is what we got. We got for the West Finals. We already got one game in the books. Phoenix is up 1-0. Booker was on fire, had a triple-double. Chris Paul, the man who can't catch a break, out with COVID precautions. And Kawhi Leonard is still out. What do you think about this series thus far? You got a winner picks, or are you tossing the old coin like Atlanta and what we got going on in the East?
I would like Phoenix to win. That's where I'm at. Mm-hmm. But I do think both these teams can play good basketball. When you get to the conference finals, there's not really a favorite here. Both teams are down a superstar or an all-star, depending how you want to describe it. Mm-hmm. It's going to rely on whatever bench players step up more. And right now it does seem like the Clippers have had some good players step up, but Booker obviously tore it up. So yeah, I'll take Phoenix just because I don't like Clippers all that much, but
that's completely fair. Hey, that's completely fair. I feel like the Clippers are an acquired taste, and you got your nice straightforward steak with the Suns. You're gonna enjoy the steak. You're gonna enjoy that bite. And like so. You got I don't know, you got like escargot and snails with the Clippers. So you can get a real good escargot, or you can just get a salty, nasty snail. I don't know. I'd rather go with the steak. I'd rather go with the Suns myself too. I think the Suns got this series. I'd love to see Chris Paul get to the finals. I think that's one thing we chatted about earlier on in our podcast.
Phoenix, Atlanta, just like we expected.
Exactly how we drew it up. You heard it here first. We definitely will not go back and edit our show to show that we did that.
We'll have to do that at the end of this season, just to pick our favorites for next year and then come back, see what happens.
Oh my God. Yeah. The NBA is forever changing. It's been a fun season thus far. We'll have a new champion, but I think that's all we got for today's show. Unless
oh my goodness, Phil, we're wrapping it up before 40 minutes. Look at us go.
Wow.
Look at us.
Wow.
Look at us.
Doing it.
Look at
let's
you.
Just keep talking. Let's just keep talking until we get to the 40
for
mark.
For another minute and 20 seconds. So how about the weather?
You got a story for me?
How about the weather? Yeah, so I heard Woj had sent out a tweet recently about stairs being added into the NBA.
Wow, hot source.
5
Shams
stairs
confirming it?
Yeah. Adam Silver is just saying like I just want ankle injuries and deep threes.
And Luke Jansen basketball was born. The Luke Jansen rule.
I mean, you got to have a dream and you got to see it through. You got to have a dream and got to see it through. That's my only story. We're still not going to make it, Phil. We still got 40 seconds. I'm lost.
One step at a time. You're going to get towards your vision, and that is 5 steps.
Five steps. 5 steps up. 5 steps down.
Beautiful. Or you just heard it. Let's wrap this up.
Phil,
we can do it before 40 seconds.
We can. It's 20 seconds. We just got to see it through now.
I'm just gonna do deadpan.
We can
silence.
We could just be really quiet. Shh. Excuse me, sir. I wanted to contact you about your car's extended warranty. Excuse me, sir. And we hit 40 minutes. Okay. It's a fantastic time. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to see you for episode 14 next week. And from deep, we love y'all. Phil, sign us off.
40 minutes of crystal gold, or should I maybe say 38 minutes and a half of crystal gold and 1.5 minutes of a man telling his story and his dream. Thank you for joining, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace.